Well, hello and welcome back to our garden. As you can see, the weather conditions have not improved, they haven't changed much, so there's no reprieve from the amount of rain and wind we've been getting. And I'm doing things a little bit backwards because of it, as I'm actually starting with harvesting of the potatoes. I want to make sure that our dinner side is sorted because I'll be probably spending a good bit of time under cover today. I have hen coop to clean out for sure, so that means I'll be also trying to turn a little bit of compost, obviously having to prep a lot of the vegetables for the week ahead, and I'll be doing a bit of canning as well, and then I think greenhouse might need a tidy, so we'll see how much will get done, what gets done, but I'm starting with the potatoes. So these are the big ton bag of mixed bags, I suppose, as well, of potatoes. And this is where I got blight the earliest, actually the central bed here. So, and I've already come across a couple of blighted potatoes that are totally mushy. So I want to make sure that this one gets empty. The soil is really wet inside of these bags, even though they have a good drainage and they're sort of on the edge of the hill, so anything can still drain downwards. But there's a mix of varieties here as well. That's another blighted potato. I'm thinking I might have even picked up like 4 different varieties of potatoes between, a little bit from one bag and then more from this bag. And next year I'm thinking I might even give this bag a bit of a break, as even though it was the first season to grow potatoes in it, I might not grow potatoes in this particular bag again, unless I even end up moving the soil somewhere else. But I wouldn't put potatoes right back in here for following season. Not all of the jobs that I do involve purely plants. It involves looking after the hens, looking after the overall household as well. So there's a good variety in it that I do. I just don't record every bit of it. But today now, with this kind of weather out there, I'm not going to be able to spend that much time in the garden, but there are jobs that I genuinely just need to get on with. So clearing the hen coop and their bedding, because it's like a really fine wood shavings, they're such a good additive to the compost heap, and especially then obviously from their droppings as well, all the nutrients can go then into the compost that can then be used the following year in the garden. So there is a bit of a cycle there, and it's really healthy, and obviously we get wonderful eggs then from the hens as well, and it's all organic. We feed them organic feed. They get like these kind of organic pellets, and then a bit of grain as well that I soak, so they'll be nearly a little bit fermented. It helps them to get the minerals and vitamins out of the grains much easier, and they do prefer to eat the soaked grain rather than just the hard stuff. I'm trying to be a little bit quieter at the moment because one of the hens is on the nest now. She's not skittish, so I'm not afraid about scaring her off the nest or anything like that. But I still don't want to be making a lot of noise here. But because of the weather, because how it's just raining, I can't really postpone this job either, because there's only very short windows between the sort of showers, and there's a little bit of a dryness if I need to walk now with the wheelbarrow all the ways into the orchard where the big compost heaps are. There's going to be so much new material coming from the garden now over the next couple of months. So I want to just condense the two piles into one. And it's absolutely soaking wet. So having that a bit more of a dry wood chip or the wood shavings material in between the layers will only benefit the composting. Ooh. Just soaked. I've come into the greenhouse because I have a few garlics here that need to be tidied up and cleaned up. But overall, today's day did not turn out to be as bad as I was expecting, or mentally I suppose preparing myself for. So obviously the start of the day was very windy, very wet, and now it's actually, there's like brighter spells as well, and there's no breeze anymore, but there's still obviously rain coming through. But overall the day ended up becoming quite productive, and I'm really happy about that. I do appreciate days like that where I could where I can catch up both with sort of a bit of garden work and then the household work or the prepping for the following week ahead. So I have these two pallet compost bays, and one side I had more of sort of semi-composted material in it. Now I needed to pull all that out because over the summer I hadn't covered the actual compost bays themselves, and the ingredients in it had gotten quite wet. So I want to make sure I'll get every bit of that old material out of my way, and then I started to layer the old stuff, a bit of the wood shavings, a little bit more of the semi-composted, especially there's a lot of branches in there, so it wasn't actually chopped down by me. Previously it was all like long pieces, and more wood shavings. And once I ran out of the old stuff, I started to add in the second base ingredients, and that texture was actually really nice. Now there was still more composting to do to that side, so that's why I was happy to mix the two sides together. So now basically what I have is one fully empty bay where I could put the fresh materials in. So whatever comes now from the clearing of the garden, that will go all in there. I don't think I'll be adding any more wood shavings at the moment, but I will have like some paper, shredded paper and stuff, so there'll be still cardboard to add, and even to the first bay I had some boxes of cardboard and bits like that I also just put all into the mix. And this time I did cover every bit of it up so that you can start baking and cooking itself. But gosh, you could see, like, if in the morning I had the coat on, as I was doing more of this physical work, the layers were coming off me. So by the time I was fully finished with the compost heap, all I could think of it was shower and a full exchange of clothing. then I could focus on the sort of domestic side of it. So I knew that the outside, the dirty work was done, my potatoes were harvested, the chicken coop was clear, and the compost was turned. So obviously I was tired, the body was tired, but knowing that outside work was done, it was horrible weather outside, so I really did not want to go out there anymore. But now I could really put guilt-free all of my attention and focus to the prepping for next week. So, and I had the pickling to do as well, which I actually had started the day before. So there was actually two things. Sorry, there was two things I actually did the day before, because the day before was also horrible weather. One was that I visited like a garden centre, a home store combination, which is a little bit of a drive away from here, but I always do like to go there because everything is so nicely displayed and it's really homely inside there. I was actually really looking for a couple of more of these pickling or fermenting pieces, and I was hoping they'll have it, and I was hoping they'll be on sale, but otherwise it's just more like seeing that kind of autumnal fall tableware out, and these kind of really homely, just anything to do with sort of domestic, making it pretty and cozy for the sort of autumn winter season. And obviously I went to see the garden centre part as well, which was a little bit empty, and I could see like it's probably like the end of the season. So the only thing I actually came out of, like they didn't have the pickling things that I was looking for, but the only thing I came out of there with was a bed for Snowy. So he was the only one that benefited from that whole long trip, but he genuinely needed a new bed anyway, and I think he really likes it. It's an Irish made, and that kind of a nice foam base, but a waterproof cover, which is really important considering he's outside so much. But the second thing I was preparing was my ingredients for the pickling. So there's a really sort of traditional salad that's eaten in Estonia during the winter time, and it's made out of pumpkins. So this would have been my childhood favorite salad because it's cool. It's usually served in its cold form next to a hot dinner dish, and it was always really refreshing. It's sweet, it's tangy, so it's traditionally always made out of pumpkins. And obviously, considering that I have big pumpkins coming as well, I was really looking forward to testing that recipe out. But also last summer I tested the same recipe but based on courgettes, and I have plenty of courgettes that have grown a little bit too big for just like making it to standard dinner. So, and all I really did yesterday was I peeled the courgettes, I took out the central sort of the mushier or softer part of it, and I just chopped it into cubes, and then I just wanted to put it into soak overnight in that vinegar and water mixture so that it would keep its sort of crunchiness, it would keep its texture, because I were due to be boiling it the following day, which is today. So I didn't want it to go mushy as easily, as quickly, if I overboil it any bit. So that was one part of my prep done yesterday. So today I could continue with that. Now, because I use brand new jars, so they were freshly purchased, and really thanks to Kerry, dog on the plot, for heads up about the price on those jars, because that was such a bargain, considering the branded jars they are, and they're nice quality. So that was great value, and badly needed. So I actually put them through a dishwasher cycle, and yeah, then I just went ahead, I boiled my mixture. Now, the one difference actually is that the vinegar I'm using is a vinegar essence, so it's not your typical sort of table vinegar, because the acidity in that table vinegar, what you usually buy from a supermarket, is about like 5 or 6%, but the essence is so much stronger, so you do have to be careful where you display it or have it in the house, in case somebody else in the family thinks it's the standard table vinegar. So the essence I used is 25%, and the typical traditional recipe calls for even 30% vinegar, which is common to get in Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian supermarkets, so the Baltic states supermarkets. It's easy to get that vinegar essence. So the recipe takes a good bit of sugar. because it ends up being really sweet, but still obviously the tanginess from the vinegar. But it's the mix so of the vinegar, water mix, sugar, you have spices, there's a couple of cinnamon sticks, allspice berries and cloves, so whole cloves. So they all go in, and yeah, just make sure everything is dissolved. And just because it's courgette now, so it's way smaller pieces, sort of less tough texture than pumpkin would be. I'd say I boiled it just about 10 minutes, and then I just jarred it up, and I put them through water bath as well, just to make it shelf stable, because they are going to sort of stay in a warmish enough environment inside the house. It's not going to be stored in a shade or in the garage or anywhere cooler than that. So I just want to make sure they're shelf stable. But if they would be pumpkins, you probably would be boiling them even up to an hour. So that was the quick thing then. But my favorite thing to do on a dreary day when it's miserable outside is literally put on a bit of Netflix. I think I must have watched Downton Abbey series now for like 5 times easily. All the seasons, all the episodes. But it's just something on the background. Netflix on, and I start prepping and chopping the vegetables. It's just something so satisfying to have this kind of a hard, dirty work done, where you're peeling, you're chopping, you're prepping all the veg for the following week, because you sort of at the same time know that it's going to make your life so much easier. After coming home, busy day from work, the last thing you want to be thinking, oh, I have to start prepping vegetables for the dinner to eat healthier. And that's just the one thing that it's so easy to fall into the trap of some other convenience foods, is prepping the vegetables. If my husband sees me chopping the vegetables the way I do, like everywhere it's covered, anything that goes into compost, peelings, cutting, chopping everywhere, and the Tupperware boxes to put into the fridge, he's just always laughing at, oh yeah, I'm doing my own therapy again. She's having a therapy session, because I do find it really therapeutic for some reason. So yeah, I always find that it's been a really successful day if I've gotten my vegetables prepped, and I've actually at the same time also been able to do something out in the garden for myself. And now, as the evenings are getting so much shorter, and the hens go to bed earlier, I thought, because there was just that little bit of sunshine at the moment, I better come here and get more of these garlics prepared as well, so that I can tidy these areas here as well. And the winter comes fast enough. But yeah, this was how I spent my weekend between the garden and the house. But do let me know if you have any of these kind of favourite activities you like to do, either inside the house, outside the house, on these kind of days where it's just not really favourable to be outdoors. I'd like to hear from that. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today, and hopefully see you in the next video.